With the recent announcement that we are getting an Angels vs Demons mini event very soon, I want to take a look at the original Angels and Demons event around 8 months ago. In this video, I'm going to go over its basics and then talk about why the event is basically universally loved for the most part, how it set a standard for events that hasn't been reached since, and what Brawl Stars can do to make events as good as this one with both the new Angels and Demons event and other events in the future. I'm getting close to 15k subscribers. Wait a second, I reached it. Thanks to everyone who subscribed, but if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to keep up with my videos. Second, join our Discord server. We have some fun stuff to do there, like our very own 1v1 ranked called Gauntlet, where you can win Persephone Lumi, and more Brawl Talk skins in the future, or simply just have fun. Finally, consider becoming a channel member if you're interested in supporting out the channel and have ample disposable income for some cool perks, like watching videos early or getting to decide on future video ideas. The Angels and Demons event began in early November and was based around, you guessed it, a battle between Angels and Demons. Each day, you would randomly be assigned to either the Demon or Angel side for the next 24 hours. And on the weekend, you could choose which side you wanted to be part of. But what was the difference between the two? Well, for starters, the star drops. If you were part of the Angel side, your daily star drops would turn into Angel star drops. And if you were part of the Demon side, your daily star drops would turn into Demon star drops. The longer you had to hold to open up a drop, the more valuable the drop would be. And here's a graphic of the rewards that you could get from the Angel Star Drop and the Demon Star Drop. Alongside these Star Drops were also the power-ups for this season, which were separated into Angel and Demon abilities. These abilities would be unlocked after opening 1, 3, 6, 9, 15, and 24 total Angel or Demon Star Drops, totaling to 58 Angel Star Drops and 58 Demon Star Drops needed to unlock every single ability. As for the power-ups themselves, there were 6 on each side, and we'll start with the Angel abilities. Radiant Touch made it so that damaging enemies created a healing aura around you, which would heal more per Angel teammate on your team. Ascension granted you extra movement speed for the whole game, which was increased with each Angel teammate on your team. Blessed Barrier gave you a shield after dealing damage, which only gets stronger with more damage dealt. Rebirth lets you stay alive when you would have died, knocking enemies back and letting you be invulnerable for a short amount of time, though you couldn't attack. Smite allowed you to fire beams of light that damage and slow enemies whenever you were moving. Finally, Seraphim sees a healing angel spawn whenever a teammate dies, and if the teammate was an angel, the healing angel becomes more powerful. Now, the demon abilities. First is Siphon, which lets you heal yourself and demon teammates after damaging enemies. Conjuring Chaos allows you to summon imps after defeating an enemy, allowing you to summon more per demon teammate. Fury increases movement speed for 3 seconds when damaging enemies or taking damage. Revengeance allows you to deal massive damage to enemies around you when you die. Demon Fire leaves behind a trail of fire that lasts for 10 seconds and damages enemies. Finally, Gluttony let you spawn a power cube every time you eliminated an enemy. You could only equip one of these abilities per game, and you could only equip the ability that you were a part of. For example, Angels could only pick Angel abilities and vice versa. They also added 2 new game modes, Spirit Wars and Soul Collector, as well as bringing back a fan favorite mode in Trio Showdown. Spirit Wars was basically Siege but remodeled. In this mode, you collected amulets across the middle of the map, and each amulet corresponded to summoning a spirit that would attack for your team in a battle, with there being 3 battles per match, with the spirits becoming stronger after each battle. Soul Collector was sort of a bounty remake, but a bit more unique. If you defeated an enemy, their soul would drop, and the first team to collect 6 souls would be the winner of the game. However, a dropped soul would despawn after 10 seconds if no one had collected it. Last but most important were the contests. Every 3 days, a contest would be active between 50 players, and would include the game modes Trio Showdown, Soul Collector, and Spirit Wars. Each day of the contest, 5 tickets would be given to every player to play, and you would have to get as many wins as you could. If people tied for a certain placement, then they would share the reward. Speaking of the rewards, here's a graphic with all of the rewards from the contest. And with that, all of the basics from the event are officially covered. And now, I'm going to dive a little deeper into why exactly this event was so good. First of all, the whole system of being an angel or a demon. It was completely random, so I guess some people could have gotten unlucky, but it wasn't that big of a problem, since if you wanted all the powers, you needed to get both angel and demon star drops. And furthermore, every weekend, you could choose whatever you want, as well as in the contest. And now, the star drops. To say that these were good, star drops would be an understatement. These were progression giants. The differences between the angel and demon star drops are very slight, so I will just look at the angel star drops for simplicity's sake. The coin amounts they gave were very good, and came at a crucial time. This was during the height of the Great Coin Apocalypse, so we were very desperate for coins, and these drops delivered. The most important part about them was that the coins were very common. In fact, you were about 5 times more likely to get 100 coins than 50 power points, which regular star drops didn't have. The chances for higher rewards weren't that good for coins, but Brawl Stars took into consideration the lack of need for power points, and nerfed the chances for power points to oblivion. There was also solid bling chances, which was good for free-to-play players in getting skins. The one big negative of these star drops was, obviously, the XP doublers. Imagine getting the elusive 0.11% chance, and instead of getting a hypercharge skin or 100 gems, it was 1000 XP doublers. Let's just say the 1000 XP doublers would not be in use. The chances to get gadgets, star powers, hypercharges, and new brawlers were similar to what is currently in star drops. However, the skins were all very good. There were only 4 total rare skins for angels and demon skins combined. So you would either have some of them already, or you could just buy them all for 1000 bling each, so they wouldn't show up in your drops. The rest of the skins were all goated, and it was extremely hype to get a skin, though quite rare to be honest. The hypercharged skins came with a bit of controversy, however. The chances for them were extremely low at 0.11%, and people had gotten used to getting them for free, like the hypercharged Rico and Buzz skin in earlier events. And so, they were unhappy at not being able to get a hypercharged skin for free in this event. Personally, there are 2 sides to this. On one hand, this was obviously a cash grab for people to buy angel and demon star drops to get the skin. But on the other hand, it really made the hypercharged skin feel special and unique, and wasn't given out for free to everyone. At the very least, it was handled better than the Kenji hypercharged skin, simply because Brawl Stars made it clear that most people were not going to get the Edgar or Mortis skin, while they tried to make it seem most people were going to get the Oni Kenji skin. But let's move on from the star drops and talk about the power-ups. If you watched my videos before, you know that I despise all forms of power-ups, mutations, wasabis, you name it. However, I have to admit that these abilities were one of the better ways that they have managed to handle them. They were not brawler specific, nor as RNG based as wasabis or mutations, and could be applied to any brawler. And it wasn't like one specific ability was the best, as while there were definitely a hierarchy of better abilities, there was quite a few viable abilities from each side that could be used. Of course, I would have preferred to have no abilities at all, but they did do a pretty solid job with them. Furthermore, the power-ups having more power with extra angels or demons on your side was a nice and unique touch. This gave a bigger incentive to playing with friends to coordinate extra angel or demon power. which just made things like playing contests more bearable than it would be. Next, the game modes. These were pretty weak, as Spirit Wars became a bug-infested, cheese-infested, mediocre at best game mode that was honestly worse than the original Siege. Soul Collector, however, was pretty unique and fun, and introduced a new element of risk into the traditional bounty setup, which was pretty cool. Bringing back Trio Showdown was also a W move, as a lot of people loved the mode before its removal. Finally, contests. I know contests are getting a bad rep nowadays, and even during the Angels vs Demons days, people were not happy at the constant grind that contests were. However, I think for this event, and this event only, the grind required was 100% justified. The amount of rewards we got from this event was actually obscene. Basically, only 15 people in your contest would actually be competing, so that's a guaranteed minimum of 6 star drops for 3 days. And since the event lasted a month, that's an extra 60 star drops, and that's just the minimum. Let's say you got top 5 every single contest, which wasn't even that difficult. Considering if you get the same amount of wins as someone else, you get the same reward. This would mean a minimum of 120 extra star drops, which I have already mentioned were buffed from the regular star drops. This was a gigantic buff to progression, and I think these Angels and Demons contests were the closest thing we got to Club League since its removal, which is definitely saying something because Club League was an absolute unit when it came to progression. Unfortunately, there was a big problem when it came to this update, and the only major black mark against it, and that was the bugs. It was so bad that it was jokingly, or not even jokingly at points, called the Bugs vs Glitches event at one point. If I were to go over all of the bugs in this update, by the time I finished, Travis would release Jack Boys 2, so in other words, it would take a very long time. However, I will go over the 2 most egregious bugs of this update. First was Spike plus Demon Fire. If Spike had the Fertilized Star Power equipped and the Demon Fire ability equipped, he was literally invincible unless he was one-shot. I'm sure you can understand why this was completely broken, and made Spike an actual demon to face off against, pun fully intended. Next was the Colt plus Smite glitch. If Colt had the Magnum Special Star Power equipped, and the Smite ability equipped, he didn't even need to attack, as the Smite rings would freeze into place and overload over time as Colt ran all around the map, which would either eliminate basically everyone else or literally cause the game to crash for enemy players. Obviously, this was an utterly broken bug and was patched alongside the Spike bug, but not after a lot of trauma was caused. Overall, however, I think this was the best event we've had, and should be the bar for future events. I mean, even Supercell realizes this, as they're actually bringing back the Angels vs Demons season for a part 2 later this summer, trying to recapture some of the magic that was there in the original one. But why is this event so loved and not some of the more recent ones, like the pizza event, the Buzz Lightyear event, or the sushi event? Well, it's simple. They made the focus on progression, not spectacle or money making. Honestly, the only especially money hungry thing they did this event was the Angel and Demon Star Drop offers in the shop for people to try and get the Hypercharge skin. And that wasn't even that big of a factor on progression either. Speaking of progression, the amount of progression we gained from this event was absolutely ludicrous, which I mentioned in detail before. However, I do think in the long run, the sheer amount of progression we got ended up being a double-edged sword. Remember when they nearly canceled the Master event, citing that they gave us too much progression? I think the same exact thing happened with this event. Supercell saw just how much progression they gave away for free in this event, and then decided to never give this amount again, and to reduce future amounts of progression given out in future events, which we have seen play out with the last few events, such as the sushi event. So what can Brawl Stars do to improve in next updates? Well, the answer is quite simple. Your main goal should be to please and hype the player base, not to make money. I understand making money is a huge deal, but you will make more money by having a larger player base, rather than causing more people to leave the game due to more mediocre, non-free-to-play friendly events. There's a reason the game spiked in popularity around the time of the original Angels vs Demons event, and Brawl Stars can replicate this, but they absolutely have to make it free-to-play friendly, give a lot of progression, and most importantly, but most difficult, generate real hype and intrigue like the Angels vs Demons event. But anyway, thanks for watching. Watch this video, or this playlist, or join the Discord server.